Captain William Carter stood on the bridge of the U.S. Retribution. He looked out at the stars through the massive viewing window. Each tiny light represented a system where aliens might live. Some of those aliens had hurt humanity badly. Very badly. "Captain, all systems are ready," said Lieutenant Samantha Miller. She worked at the weapons console, her fingers moving quickly over the controls. Carter nodded. His face showed no emotion, but inside, anger burned hot. 10 years ago, the Azaraxians had attacked Earth's colony worlds without warning. Billions of humans died. The aliens showed no mercy. They gave no reason for their attack. "Status report," Carter said. "The Harbinger protocol is fully charged," replied Chief Engineer Peter Holloway. His voice sounded tired. Everyone knew what the Harbinger could do. It was a weapon that could break apart planets down to their smallest pieces. No one had ever built anything like it before. Humans had created it because they had no choice. Holloway looked troubled. He built weapons that could destroy worlds, but sometimes he wondered if they should use them. "Communications check," Carter said. Officer Gary Wright touched his earpiece. "All channels clear, Captain. We can broadcast to the entire Xaraxian system when we arrive." Wright had lost his wife and 2 children when the Xaraxians destroyed New Washington Colony. His eyes were always hard now. The ship hummed with power. The U.S. Retribution was the most advanced warship humans had ever built. Its black hull absorbed light rather than reflected it. Its engines could cross vast distances in days rather than years. Its weapons could crack planets. It represented humanity's response to near extinction. "Message from command," said Wright. "Admiral Reeves wants to speak with you." The main screen lit up. Admiral Nancy Reeves appeared, her gray hair pulled back tightly. She had been leading Earth's military since the first attacks. "Captain Carter, you understand your mission?" she asked. "Yes, Admiral. We are to destroy all major Xaraxian worlds. No exceptions." "Correct. Intelligence shows that Xaraxians are fighting among themselves. Their home defenses are weak for the first time in a decade. This is our only chance." She leaned closer to the screen. "They showed us no mercy when they killed our people. We will show them none in return." Carter nodded. "Understood, Admiral. This isn't just about revenge, Captain. The Xaraxians will rebuild their forces if we leave any of their production worlds intact. They will come for Earth next. This is survival." After the Admiral's image disappeared, Carter turned to his crew. 20 men and women who represented the best of what remained of humanity. Some looked eager. Others looked sick. All looked determined. "Set course for Zorax II," Carter ordered. Their main production world. The navigator, Paul Martinez, entered the coordinates. "Course set, Captain. Estimated arrival in 17 hours. Carter pressed the ship-wide communication button. "Attention all crew of the U.S. Retribution. This is your captain speaking. In 17 hours, we will arrive at our first target. You all know what the Xaraxians did to our colonies. You all lost someone. Today, we begin to balance the scales." He paused, looking at the faces of his bridge crew. "Some of you may have doubts. You may wonder if what we're about to do makes us no better than them. I've asked myself the same question. But remember, we didn't start this war. We didn't attack without reason. We are the last line of defense for Earth. If we fail, humanity ends." Lieutenant Miller looked up from her station. "The Harbinger protocol is unlike anything we've used before, Captain. Simulations show that it will reduce Zorax II to basic elements within minutes." "Good," said Carter. "They turned our worlds to wastelands. We'll turn theirs to cosmic dust." As the ship accelerated toward its target, Carter stared out at the endless dark. Humanity had been peaceful once. The Xaraxians had changed that forever. The U.S. Retribution sliced through space, a black arrow aimed at the heart of an empire that had underestimated humanity's will to survive. The U.S. Retribution came out of hyperspace with a flash of blue light. The massive ship slowed to a halt, its engines humming quietly. Ahead of them floated Zorax II, a planet covered in factories and military bases. This world built the weapons that had killed billions of humans. "Stealth systems engaged," said Lieutenant Miller. "They haven't spotted us yet." Captain Carter nodded. He stood with his hands behind his back, watching the alien world on the main screen. "How long until they detect us?" 3 minutes at most, said Officer Wright from Communications. "Their orbital scanners are already searching this sector." Carter looked at his crew. Some seemed nervous. Others looked angry. All waited for his command. "Open a channel to the planet," he ordered. "All frequencies." Wright pressed several buttons. "Channel open, sir. They can hear you now." Carter stepped forward. His voice was calm but cold. "This is Captain William Carter of the Earth ship U.S. Retribution. 10 years ago, your forces attacked our colony worlds without warning or mercy. You killed billions of innocent people. Today, humanity returns to deliver justice." On the screen, they could see sudden activity around the planet. Defense platforms turned toward them. Ships began to launch. "They're powering weapons," reported Miller. Her hands moved quickly over her console. Incoming transmission. A Xeraxian face appeared on screen. The alien had blue-gray skin and 4 yellow eyes. Its voice translated through the ship's computers. "Human vessel, this is Defense Commander's Rec. You have entered restricted space. Your species is weak. You cannot threaten a Xeraxian world. Surrender now or be destroyed." Carter didn't answer. He turned to Engineer Holloway. "Prepare the Harbinger Protocol." Holloway hesitated for just a moment. His fingers trembled slightly as he entered the activation codes. "Harbinger Protocol ready, Captain. Target locked on planetary core." The Xeraxian commander continued speaking. "Your single ship is nothing compared to our defenses. The destruction of your colonies was just the beginning. Once our civil war ends, we will finish what we started." Carter's face hardened. "Fire," he said quietly. Holloway pressed the final button. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a beam of intense white light shot from the Retribution toward the planet. It hit without a sound. At first, nothing seemed to change. Then the crew watched as cracks of bright light spread across the planet's surface. The cracks grew larger, connecting like a web across the entire world. "Harbinger effect confirmed," said Miller. Her voice was barely a whisper. "Molecular bonds are breaking down across the planet. Complete planetary destruction in 57 seconds. The Xeraxian commander's face showed fear for the first time. "What have you done? This is impossible. We have billions off." The transmission cut off. The crew watched in silence as Zorax II broke apart. First large chunks separated, then those chunks broke into smaller pieces. The process continued until nothing remained but a cloud of dust where a planet once stood. "Target destroyed," Miller reported quietly. Carter looked at the dust cloud. "Set course for Zorax VI," he ordered. "It's their main military academy world." Intelligence Officer Janet Coleman spoke up from her station. "Captain, I've analyzed data we captured from their communications network before destruction. There's something interesting here." She looked troubled. "What is it, Coleman?" asked Carter. "Sir, I found messages between some Xeraxian scientists. They were protesting against the attack on human colonies. It seems not all Xeraxians supported the war." Carter frowned. "Save that data for later analysis. We have a mission to complete." As the ship turned toward its next target, Holloway stared at his hands. He had just helped kill an entire planet. He knew the Xeraxians deserved it for what they did to humanity. Still, he felt something heavy inside him. "Next target in range in 12 hours, reported Navigator Martinez. Carter nodded. "All personnel not on duty should rest. Tomorrow, we continue delivering humanity's response." The U.S. Retribution moved silently through space, leaving nothing but dust where once a world of billions had existed. 3 more planets were gone. Where Xeraxian worlds once floated, only fields of rocks and dust remained. The U.S. retribution moved through space like a dark shadow. No Xeraxian defense had been able to stop it. Captain Carter sat alone in his room. He had not slept well in days. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw planets breaking apart. He saw billions of lives ending in moments. The Xeraxians had killed humans first, but the weight of his actions still pressed on him. Someone knocked on his door. "Enter," Carter said. Medical Officer Daniel Harrison walked in. He carried a small device that showed the health of all crew members. "Captain, I need to talk to you about the crew," Harrison said. His face looked worried. "What's the problem?" "Stress levels are very high. Some crew members are not sleeping. Others are having nightmares. A few are becoming too aggressive." Harrison paused. "And some seem too happy about what we're doing." Carter nodded slowly. "This mission is difficult for everyone. What do you suggest?" "I can give medicine to help people sleep, but that won't fix the real problem." Harrison looked directly at the captain. "We're destroying entire worlds. Even if the Xeraxians deserve it, that changes a person." Before Carter could answer, his communicator beeped. "Captain, to the bridge," came Lieutenant Miller's voice. 5 minutes later, Carter stood on the bridge. "Report," he said. "We've been analyzing Xeraxian communications from all destroyed worlds," Miller said. She looked troubled. "Sir, Intelligence Officer Coleman has found something important." Coleman stepped forward. She was usually quiet, but now she seemed eager to speak. "Captain, I found evidence that the attack on our colonies might not have been ordered by all Xeraxians. It seems a specific group within their military made that decision. Some Xeraxian leaders actually argued against attacking humans." The bridge went silent. Carter frowned. "Are you certain?" "The evidence is strong, sir," Coleman replied. "I've cross-checked multiple sources. Some Xeraxian scientists and civilian leaders tried to stop the attack on our colonies." Officer Wright spoke up from his station. "Does it matter? They still killed billions of us. It matters if we're killing innocent Xeraxians who had no part in the decision," Coleman said. Security Officer Kevin Blackwood walked onto the bridge. He was in charge of the ship's marines and overall security. "Sir, we have a situation in the mess hall. 2 crew members got into a fight about our mission. One thinks we should stop destroying planets. The other thinks we should destroy more." Carter sighed. "Handle it, Blackwood." "Already did, sir, but this won't be the last fight." Blackwood stood stiffly. "For what it's worth, I think our mission is clear. The only good Xeraxian is a dead Xeraxian." Engineer Holloway, who had been quiet until now, looked up from his console. "That kind of thinking makes us just like them." Blackwood turned toward Holloway. "They started this war. We're finishing it." "Enough," Carter said sharply. "We have our orders. Our next target is Zorax Prime, their capital world. We'll reach it in 20 hours. After the others returned to their duties, Miller approached Carter privately. "Sir, I've been analyzing the Xeraxian communications too. Coleman is right. There's evidence that many Xeraxians opposed the war, and now they're terrified. Their leaders are using our attacks to unite their people against us." Carter looked out at the stars. "What would you have me do, Lieutenant? Ignore our orders? Let the people who destroyed our colonies go free?" "No, sir," Miller said quietly. "But maybe there's a way to punish those responsible without killing everyone." Carter didn't answer. The ship continued toward Zorax Prime, where billions of Xeraxians lived. Soon, he would have to decide. Follow orders and destroy another world, or find another way. The U.S. retribution slowed as it approached Zorax Prime. The Xeraxian homeworld was larger than Earth, with 3 moons and rings of ice. Billions of Xeraxians lived on its surface. Soon, they would all be dead. "Stealth systems holding," reported Lieutenant Miller. "They haven't detected us yet." Captain Carter stared at the planet. His hand hovered over the button that would give the order to prepare the Harbinger Protocol. but he didn't press it. "Captain," Miller asked quietly. Before Carter could respond, Officer Wright called out from his station. "Sir, I'm picking up an unusual transmission from the planet. It's on an old frequency we haven't seen before." "Put it through," Carter ordered. Static filled the bridge speakers. Then a voice broke through, speaking in translated Xeraxian. "To any human vessels, this is Scientist Elder Kraz of the Peace Faction. Please respond. We tried to prevent the war against humans. We have proof. Please respond before it's too late." The bridge crew looked at each other. Wright's hand moved toward the response button, but Carter held up his hand. "It could be a trap," Security Officer Blackwood warned. "They might be trying to locate us." "Or it could be genuine," said Intelligence Officer Coleman. "It matches the evidence I found earlier." Carter thought for a moment. ARI analyzed the transmission. The ship's AI, called ARI, Advanced Reconnaissance Intelligence Array, responded in a female voice. The voice belonged to Specialist Linda Peterson, who had died during the AI's creation, but whose voice remained. "I have analyzed the transmission," Araya said. "It contains embedded data packets. The data appears to be records of Hyraxian government meetings from before the attack on human colonies. Initial analysis suggests these are authentic records." Carter's communicator beeped. "Incoming transmission from Admiral Reeves," Wright reported. The main screen showed Admiral Reeves' stern face. "Captain Carter, you should be preparing to fire on Zorax Prime. Why the delay?" "Admiral, we've received a transmission from the planet. There may be Xeraxians who opposed the war against humanity. We're analyzing the evidence now." Admiral Reeves frowned. "Your orders are clear, Captain. Destroy all Xeraxian worlds. Their internal politics are irrelevant." "With respect, Admiral, if we're killing people who tried to prevent the war, doesn't that make us the monsters?" "They killed billions of us, Captain. Don't lose sight of that." After the Admiral's image disappeared, Carter turned to Coleman. "What have you found in those records?" Coleman looked up from her screen. "Sir, these records show that the Xeraxian military leadership launched the attack on our colonies against the wishes of their own Science Council. Scientist Elder Kraz led a group that tried to warn humanity, but their messages were blocked." Engineer Holloway spoke up. "Captain, there's something else you should know. I've been working on modifying the Hardinger protocol. I think I can adjust it to target specific structures instead of entire planets." Carter raised his eyebrows. "When were you planning to tell me this?" "When I was sure it would work," Holloway replied. "I didn't want to offer false hope." Wright interrupted. "Sir, I found something alarming in the Xeraxian emergency broadcasts. Their leaders are moving billions of civilians to surround military facilities on all remaining worlds. They're using their own people as shields." Carter stood silently, weighing his options. Destroy an entire world as ordered, potentially killing innocent Xeraxians, or disobey direct orders and risk Earth's future safety. "Open a channel to Scientist Elder Kraz," he finally said. Blackwood stepped forward. "Captain, this is a mistake. We can't trust any Xeraxian." "I'm not trusting them yet," Carter replied. "But I need to know the truth before I destroy another world." As Wright established the connection, the crew was tense. Half seemed to support Carter's decision. The other half looked doubtful or angry. The unity of purpose that had driven their mission was fracturing. The U.S. Retribution orbited Zorax Prime. Its weapons were ready, but not yet firing. Inside the ship, the crew was divided. 24 hours, Admiral. That's all I'm asking for," Captain Carter said to Admiral Reeves on the main screen. The Admiral's face showed anger. "You don't have the authority to delay this mission, Captain. The Harbinger protocol must be used now, while their defenses are weak." "I need to be certain we're targeting the right people," Carter replied. "If some Xeraxians tried to prevent the war, killing them all would make us worse than them." "Your orders stand, Captain. Destroy Zorax Prime immediately." Reeves out. The screen went dark. Carter turned to his crew. Some looked relieved at the delay. Others seemed frustrated. "Sir, what are we doing?" Lieutenant Miller asked. "We're going to find the truth," Carter said. "Coleman, continue analyzing those Siraxian records." "Right. Maintain contact with Scientist Elder Kraz. Holloway, keep working on modifying the Harbinger Protocol." Security Officer Blackwood stepped forward. "Captain, with respect, we're making a mistake. The Admiral's orders were clear." "I heard the orders, Blackwood. But I won't destroy a world of billions without being certain." Blackwood's hand moved slightly toward his weapon. "Sir, humanity's survival depends on eliminating all Siraxians. They'll rebuild and attack again if we don't finish them now." Carter noticed the movement. "Are you threatening mutiny, Officer Blackwood?" The security officer looked around the bridge. Several crew members nodded at him. "Not mutiny, sir. Just ensuring the mission continues as planned." Lieutenant Miller moved to stand beside Carter. "Anyone who wants to take control of this ship will have to go through me first." The bridge grew tense as crew members took sides. Half stood with Carter and Miller. The other half moved behind Blackwood. "Think carefully about what you're doing," Carter warned. "This is still my ship." Meanwhile, in engineering, Holloway and Medical Officer Harrison worked quickly. "How much longer until the Harbinger modifications are complete?" Harrison asked. Holloway didn't look up from his work. "A few more hours. The targeting system was designed to destroy planets, not individual buildings." Harrison looked nervously at the door. "We need to hurry. Blackwood has supporters in security. They might try to take control of the ship." In another part of the ship, Intelligence Officer Coleman spoke quietly with Scientist Elder Kraz through a secure channel. "Our people never wanted war with humans," the old Siraxian said. His 4 yellow eyes blinked sadly. "The military leadership told us they detected human ships preparing to attack our worlds. They said they had to strike first. But that wasn't true," Coleman said. "No, it was a lie to start a war. The military wanted to expand. They said humans were weak and would fall easily." Kraz paused. "Many of us tried to warn your people. Our messages were blocked." Coleman nodded. "We've found evidence supporting your story. But many humans will still want revenge for what happened. We understand. We only ask that you punish those responsible, not our entire species." On the bridge, the standoff continued. Neither side wanted to fire first, but neither would back down. "Captain, incoming transmission from Zorax Prime," Wright called out. "It's from their high command, not Scientist Elder Kraz." Before Carter could respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. Red warning lights flashed. "What's happening?" Carter demanded. Araya's calm voice answered. "Warning. Unauthorized activation of Harbinger Protocol detected. System override in progress." Carter and Blackwood looked at each other in shock. Someone else was trying to activate the planet-killing weapon. "Who's doing this?" Carter shouted. "Unknown," Araya replied. "The command is coming from within the ship, but I cannot identify the source." Carter turned to Blackwood. "Is this your doing?" Blackwood shook his head, looking genuinely surprised. "No, sir. I want to complete our mission. But I wouldn't do it this way." The ship shuddered as power flowed into the Harbinger system. Below them, Zorax Prime continued to spin, unaware of how close it was to total destruction. "Emergency shutdown," Captain Carter shouted. "Override code Carter Alpha 79. The ship's alarms continued to blare. The Harbinger Protocol was charging up, preparing to destroy Zorax Prime. "Override accepted," Araya announced. Harbinger Protocol shutting down. Everyone on the bridge breathed a sigh of relief. The tension between Carter's supporters and Blackwood's group remained, but they had a bigger problem now. "Find out who tried to activate the weapon," Carter ordered. Lieutenant Miller worked quickly at her console. The activation came from a terminal in the lower decks. Going to security footage now. The main screen showed a crew member they all recognized. Junior Engineer Frank Lewis. He was trying to override the Harbinger controls. Why would Lewis do this? Carter asked. He lost his entire family when the Xeraxians attacked New Boston Colony, Officer Wright said quietly. He told me once he joined this mission for revenge. Security teams found Lewis and brought him to the bridge. His eyes were red from crying. I had to do it, he said. We need to kill them all. That's what we came here to do. Carter looked at the young man. We came here for justice, not blind revenge. What's the difference? Lewis asked. They killed billions of us. The difference is we're better than them, Carter replied. Take him to the brig. After Lewis was gone, Carter noticed something. The divide between his supporters and Blackwood's group had shrunk. Even Blackwood looked troubled by Lewis's actions. The unauthorized activation damaged several systems. Engineer Holloway reported over the comm. We need at least 6 hours for repairs. Carter nodded. That gives us time to make a decision. He called all senior officers to the meeting room. Once everyone was seated, Carter spoke. We all came on this mission for the same reason. The Xeraxians attacked our colonies and killed billions of humans. We want justice. He paused. But now we face a choice about what kind of justice we seek and what kind of people we want to be. Intelligence Officer Coleman went next. She showed the evidence she had gathered. These records prove that the Xeraxian military acted against the wishes of many of their own people. Scientist Elder Kraz and others tried to warn us before the attack. Communications Officer Wright added, We've also learned that the Xeraxian leaders are using civilians as shields around military bases. They're forcing billions of their own people to protect the ones who are really responsible. Engineer Holloway stood up. I've completed the modifications to the Harbinger protocol. We can now target specific buildings or areas instead of destroying entire planets. The room was silent as everyone considered what this meant. Security Officer Blackwood finally spoke. I still believe the Xeraxians are dangerous, but targeting only those responsible. He hesitated. That does seem more just than killing everyone. Captain Carter looked around the room. I joined Earth's fleet to protect humanity, not to become what we fear. The Xeraxians who attacked us believed we were weak because we value life. They were wrong. Our strength comes from our humanity, not from how many worlds we can destroy. He stood up straighter. I propose a new mission. We use the modified Harbinger protocol to destroy Xeraxian military bases and leadership centers. We capture those responsible for the attacks on our colonies, but we spare the civilian population. Lieutenant Miller nodded. I support this plan, Captain. One by one, most officers agreed. Even Blackwood gave a reluctant nod. Some crew members will disagree, Carter acknowledged. Anyone who cannot follow this new direction may request transfer to other duties on the ship. As the meeting ended, Carter received a message from Admiral Reeves demanding an update. He would have to explain his decision to change the mission. It wouldn't be easy, but for the first time since the mission began, Carter felt certain he was doing the right thing. The U.S. retribution had come to deliver humanity's vengeance. Instead, it might now deliver something more powerful, humanity's justice. The U.S. retribution hovered above Zorax Prime. This time, its mission was different. Instead of destroying the entire planet, the ship prepared for precise attacks. Targeting systems locked on Xeraxian Military Command. Lieutenant Miller reported, the modified Harbinger protocol is ready. Captain Carter nodded. Fire. A thin beam of white light shot from the ship. Unlike before, when entire planets broke apart, this beam hit just one large building. The structure glowed bright white, then collapsed into dust. Direct hit, Miller confirmed. Military command destroyed. No damage to surrounding areas. Carter turned to his crew. The bridge team worked together now. Their earlier divisions mostly healed. Begin Phase 2. The retribution moved into position above other targets. One by one, precision beams struck military bases, weapon factories, and government buildings across the planet. Each beam destroyed only its target, leaving everything around it untouched. "Sir, we're receiving multiple surrender signals," Officer Wright said. "The Xaraxian military is in chaos." Meanwhile, 3 small shuttles launched from the Retribution. Lieutenant Miller led the first team. Their mission: capture the Xaraxian leaders responsible for the attack on human colonies. Miller's shuttle landed near what remained of the Xaraxian High Command bunker. She led a team of 10 soldiers, all wearing advanced armor. "Stay alert," she ordered. "We take prisoners, not lives, unless absolutely necessary." Security Officer Blackwood led the second team to the military academy. Though he had argued for total destruction before, he now followed the new mission plan perfectly. "Building secured," he reported over the comm. "We've captured Admiral Zexkar, the one who planned the attack on New Washington Colony." The third team, led by Navigator Martinez, secured the Xaraxian Defense Ministry. They downloaded vital records that would help identify all those involved in the attacks on humanity. Back on the Retribution, Captain Carter received an incoming transmission from Earth. Admiral Reeves appeared on screen, her face stern. "Captain Carter, explain yourself," she demanded. "You were ordered to destroy Zorax Prime." "Admiral, we found a better way," Carter replied. "We're targeting only those responsible for the attacks on our colonies. The civilian population is being spared." "That was not your decision to make." "With respect, Admiral, it was the right decision. We have evidence that many Xaraxians opposed the war. Killing them all would make us no better than those who attacked us." Admiral Reeves was silent for a long moment. "Your new approach, is it effective?" "Yes, Admiral. We've captured most of the military leadership. We're destroying their ability to make war without destroying their entire civilization." The Admiral frowned, but then nodded slowly. "Continue your mission, Captain. But I expect those responsible to face full justice for their crimes." After the transmission ended, Intelligence Officer Coleman approached Carter. "Captain, Scientist Elder Kraz reports that resistance groups are rising up across multiple Xaraxian worlds. They're overthrowing what remains of the military leadership." Carter nodded. "Good. Our precise strikes showed the Xaraxian people that we only want those responsible. That gave their resistance the courage to act." In engineering, Holloway worked with the ship's AI, on a new project. "What are you doing, Chief?" Carter asked when he visited engineering. "Creating a permanent record, sir," Holloway replied. "I'm working with ARIA to document everything that happened. The Xaraxian attack on our colonies, the evidence that their military acted alone, and our response. Future generations need to know the truth. So history doesn't repeat itself," Carter said. Holloway nodded. "Exactly, sir." As day turned to night over Zorax Prime, the Retribution continued its mission. One by one, military targets were destroyed with surgical precision. Ground teams captured those who had ordered the genocide of human colonies. For the first time since the mission began, Carter felt truly certain. Humanity had the power to destroy entire worlds. But its real strength came from choosing not to use that power when another way was possible. 1 year later, Captain William Carter stood on the observation deck of the U.S. Retribution. Through the large viewing window, he watched as the new human Xaraxian peace station floated in space. The station had been built in neutral territory between Earth and Zorax Prime. Inside the station, representatives from both species met in the main chamber. The room was designed so both humans and Xaraxians could feel comfortable. "Ready to go, Captain?" Lieutenant Miller asked as she approached. Carter nodded. "As ready as I'll ever be." They boarded a shuttle and traveled to the station. When they arrived, the meeting was about to begin. Admiral Nancy Reeves stood at one side of the table. Scientist Elder Kraz stood at the other side. Between them sat the captured Xaraxian military leaders who had ordered the attack on human colonies. Admiral Reeves spoke first. "We are gathered here to witness justice. These Xaraxian leaders committed crimes against humanity. They ordered the destruction of our colonies and the deaths of billions. She presented evidence collected by the Retribution's crew during their mission. The records clearly showed that the Exoraxian military had acted against the wishes of many of their own people. Scientist Elder Kraz spoke next. We acknowledge the terrible crimes committed against humans. Though many of us oppose the war, we all bear responsibility for not stopping it. The Exoraxian military leaders were sentenced to life imprisonment on a special station built far from any inhabited world. They would live out their days with the knowledge of what they had done. After the sentencing, Carter met with his crew members who had attended the ceremony. Lieutenant Miller had been promoted. She now led a new security force made up of both humans and Exoraxians. Their job was to prevent future conflicts between the species. "How do you like your new position?" Carter asked her. "It's challenging," Miller replied, "but important. We're building trust, one day at a time." Engineer Holloway was there too. He had been working with Exoraxian scientists to convert the Harbinger technology. "We've made progress," Holloway said excitedly. "The same technology that could destroy planets can now help rebuild them. We're testing it on some of the damaged Exoraxian moons." Intelligence Officer Coleman joined them. She now headed a commission that recorded both human and Exoraxian accounts of the war. "It's hard hearing all the stories," she admitted, "but necessary. Both sides need to understand what happened and why." Even Security Officer Blackwood had found a new purpose. He trained joint human-Exoraxian security teams. "I still don't trust them completely," Blackwood told Carter honestly, "but I respect their efforts to make things right." Later that day, Carter visited a special part of the station. A memorial had been built to remember all who had died. Names of destroyed human colonies were listed alongside the Exoraxian worlds that the Retribution had turned to dust before changing its mission. Carter stood silently before the memorial. He removed his captain's insignia and placed it beside the list of names. It was a small gesture, but meaningful. Admiral Reeves found him there. "The U.S. Retribution has new orders," she said. "The ship will be recommissioned next month." "What will its new mission be?" Carter asked. "Exploration, not war," Reeves replied. "And it has a new name, U.S. Restoration. Your crew is requested to continue serving, with you as captain, if you're willing." Carter looked at the memorial once more, then at the stars visible through the station window. "Yes, I'm willing." The next day, as Carter prepared to return to his ship, Scientist Elder Kraz approached him. "Your decision changed everything," the old Exoraxian said. "You could have destroyed us all." "We came close," Carter admitted. "Yet you chose a harder path," Kraz said. "That is the true strength of humanity, isn't it? Not the power to destroy worlds, but the wisdom to show mercy when destruction would be easier." Carter nodded. The U.S. Restoration waited, not as a weapon of vengeance, but as a symbol of what humans and Exoraxians could build together from the ashes of war.